Bill Cosby sleeping in his own bed for the first time in about 3 years after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturns his sexual assault conviction in a stunning ruling.
He was given a almost 3-year unwanted vacation. But as we have always said, this is bigger than Bill Cosby. This is about reforming the criminal judicial system. Mr. Cosby has always used his celebrity, his name, his likeness to uplift women.
Here to break down the decision, criminal defense attorney Robert Bianchi. Bob, thanks for being here. You say that in their thirst for a conviction to satisfy the Me Too movement, the prosecutors lost sight of what would happen on appeal. Explain.
Todd, from the beginning of this case, those of us who really do trial work as lawyers and comment on TV were kind of shocked that the amount of evidence that the judge allowed in the second trial. The first trial, they allowed in a little bit of evidence that we thought was wobbly. In the second trial, the judge reversed themselves and allowed a lot more evidence that we found was what they called character assassination evidence to be introduced. The thing, though, that the court found here, the Supreme Court, was that Cosby got duped. In other words, back in the day when the first district attorney was reviewing this case, the district attorney indicated they were not going to file criminal charges against Cosby. Therefore, Cosby did not have a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, which compelled him to speak in the civil case that Constant had filed against him, where he made certain admissions that later on a new prosecutor came in and said, you know what, we don't agree with that first prosecutor. We're going to prosecute Cosby now, and to add insult to injury, we're going to use that very same deposition testimony as evidence against him in the trial that ultimately the Supreme Court reversed. They said that was a violation of fundamental due process, that Cosby was duped into giving that civil deposition, and then they reversed course and used it against him, and that just was unfair. Last point, Todd, it was unbelievable to me. To me, this was a judicial spanking, that not only did they reverse the conviction, they won't allow prosecutors to re-prosecute him, and hours later, he's back home sitting at his dining room table. Amazing.
Quick follow-up on this before we get to Britney. Have you ever seen in your entire career prosecutors act like this? First, the first prosecutor basically acting like a broker to try to facilitate a civil settlement, and then in the second case, the prosecutor going back on the deal that the prosecutor in the first case agreed to.
Well, no, Todd, I haven't. To be honest with you, when I took over the prosecutor's office, when I was appointed the prosecutor, the rule is you basically abide by the decisions of the previous office. It's not about the prosecutor. It's the office. So when I came in, I may not have liked certain things that my predecessor had done. But the fact was, as a matter of fundamental due process, I accepted them because it was the office that offered it, and I didn't reverse course on that.
The phrase "but for" is always in all your legal books when you go to law school, but for Bill Cosby would not have given that testimony. Meantime, let's get to Britney. Judge denying Britney Spears' request for father to be removed as conservator. Look, if you gave this decision to the people, Jamie Spears would be out, Britney Spears would be in charge. Obviously, the judge in this case saw something. In a typical conservatorship, what rationale could the judge have had to say, we got to keep Jamie on?
Well, I'm glad you asked the question that way, Todd, because it kind of gets back to Cosby, too. It's not about what the public thinks. And I understand there's a lot of passion on both sides of either of these issues we're talking about publicly, but this is about what the law says. And the fact is, with this conservatorship, it is being monitored by the court, and the court is basically saying factually she still needs the conservatorship. That's number one, because Britney wants to be relieved of any conservatorship. This judge is finding factually no, she still needs a conservatorship, and with regard to her father, that he is doing everything that is appropriate, and it's being reviewed by the court, so there's no need for the change.
I wonder if society, in light of the Britney Spears case, takes a look at conservatorships in general, because I don't think 99% of America knew what one was before Britney came to the fore here, but we'll see. Bob Bianchi, as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.